Anyhow, I'm thinking about the book I'm reading, The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, wild stuff. And I snort a chuckle. I guess I chortle while I'm lying there because I'm thinking, now that's an oxymoron, a great divorce. My wife and I recently got divorced, so I'm sort of sensitive to the title. I guess she's not my wife, but you understand, my ex-wife. I'm sort of chuckling because our divorce was anything but great. I guess most divorces are less than superlative, not the kind of thing you look forward to or look back on and say, geez, swell times. She'd called the night before looking for something. Actually, she called to accuse me of being why she couldn't find something. A cutting board. A cheap white plastic $6.99 cutting board that she swears was hers, though I remember buying that cutting board back in college. A cutting board, a sharp knife, and 3 pint glasses. I made it through college with just those things. No plates, no cutlery, no napkin rings. She has all the plates, all the cutlery, all 6 sets of napkin rings we got as wedding presents. She divorced me, but she got everything. Don't take that wrong. She's peaches, but the fact is that I moved out for a song and she's still in the house. She got the dogs, yet the night before she's calling about that stupid cutting board, right? I live in squalor. Most of my stuff is still in boxes, and I haven't even moved all the boxes to my apartment. Some of them are still in our garage, her garage. And I know I haven't seen that cutting board. I haven't had time to cut anything in my apartment. You know how much I like that cutting board, she says. Besides, I brought it to the marriage. Brought it to the marriage. She says this like she arrived with a huge oaken hope chest, like her people felled trees for timber and built our house from scratch and moved us in, like her father pulled the clapboard wagon up in front of the house and dropped off the blushing bride with her stupid cutting board dowry. If it's in a box, Meg, I say, I don't know about it. Well, if it's in a box, James, find it, she says. When I get to all the boxes, Meg, I'll let you know if it turns up. Well, your concern doesn't help me cut an onion tonight, she says. I say, no, it certainly doesn't do that. James, there's no call for rudeness, she says. I just hope every time I find something of mine missing, I don't have to call you and wait for boxes to get unpacked. I haven't had time. That's right, you never did. Half your boxes are still in my garage, and half are ones you never unpacked when we moved into the house 5 years ago. 10, maybe a dozen boxes are still there. Certainly not half. So I say, honey, if there are any 5-year-old unpacked boxes in that garage, you can have everything in them. Truthfully, I meant to cover up the phone for the next bit, but it's one of those tiny little flippy cell phones, and you don't even know where the speaker is. You can hardly see it, so how do you cover it up? So she hears me when I mumble, might as well, you took everything else. Oh, there's this silence. Oh, for silences that remain silent. No, James, I didn't take everything else. I didn't take anything. I kept. Perhaps that's the word you were looking for. Kept what was mine. Those things I bought when my job was the only one paying the bills and buying all the pretty little boxed up things that now crowd my car out of my garage. Did you know that some people actually call them carports? They drive their vehicles in them at night, these ports for cars. They keep cars, not their ex-husband's boxes in them. My wife's an attorney. I got nothing. So I say, honey, and I mean that in the most condescending way possible. Honey, that cutting board is actually mine. So you do have it. So I say, no, Meg, I don't have the cutting board. At least, I don't think I have my cutting board, like I'm saying, and I shudder to say it to you again. But it could be in a box. My cutting board, yes, could be in a box, so I can't see it with the naked, uncardboard penetrating eye. It could be in a box in this apartment or in your very own parking garage. I really don't have the foggiest. After you run over the pitiful contents of my remaining boxes with your Jeep, you're welcome to look them over and see if you come across it. But frankly, I don't know what else to tell you. She can pitch that sort of fit, but I'm not allowed. Is it going to be like this, James? Her voice trembles slightly, unconvincingly. Are we really going to be like this? She says. 5 years, James, 5 years of our lives, and I know we're divorced, and I know you feel you weren't fairly represented, but do we really have to snip and claw? I look around the walls of my apartment for something to focus on, just to look at, so I can not think of snippy, clawing, damaging remarks, but the walls are bare. There's a pause. In her mind, I imagine she's calling a mandatory do-over, because suddenly she's sweet. It's scary. Hello, James. I'm making dinner. I have no cutting board. If you find the cutting board, will you please let me know? Absolutely, Meg. I'll look for it right now. Thank you, James, and I'll just make something else for dinner. Good. What are we having? That took her a little off guard. Took us both, actually. I hear her lay the knife down. Goodbye, James. On my cell phone, even after she hangs up, the digital numbers keep counting for 5, maybe 10 more seconds, as if she's still there. Goodbye, Meg.